happy you could make it. Welcome to Perfectly Imperfect Hatha Yoga with Kim. Today we're going to boost metabolism, tone the quads and the glutes while tending to the mind and the heart space as well. So if that sounds good to you, can't wait to practice with you. So wherever you are, whether you have a yoga mat or not, you're going to find a spot to plant your feet nice and firmly. And we may take a look down at the feet as we bring the feet about hip width apart. And then we're going to push into all four corners of the feet, careful not to lock out of the knees. So now we may take a peek down and maybe we lift the toes to really emphasize this pushing of all four corners of the feet. This allows us to allow the energy to rise up through the arches there and up through the midline. So that after we've planted each toe down nice and slowly, that's when we might feel that engagement. So we're feeling that energy, that prana, rise up through the arches of the feet, up through the midline there, and then this comes all the way up to our pelvis area. This is allowing my hips to shine naturally towards my shoulders, and my sits bones are naturally engaging and tucking towards my heels. This is allowing me to find length through the upper body, and so now I'm having this upward current of energy through the front body and this downward current of energy through the back body. I'm going to lift my heart space up as I send my hands to my sides and spread my fingers nice and wide. I'm dropping my shoulders down and away from my ears, and I'm tucking my chin ever so slightly. Maybe I close the eyes as my crown shines towards the ceiling, or maybe I find a nice gentle gaze or a drishti, a focal point. From here, we're going to be sure not to lock out of the knees like I almost did there, and we're going to breathe down into the belly. So our foundation is our feet pushing into the ground. Our alignment is the stacking of the bones. And now we tap into the breath. The Fab 3, foundation, alignment, and then breath. This breath that we are embracing is going to go down towards the belly. Instead of breathing up into the shoulders, which a lot of us tend to do, we're going to send that breath down into the belly. So breathing nice, full, conscious breath. And then allowing the exhale to soften us as we land in this moment. Placing the have-tos and the have-nots, the what-ifs and the what-fors, all on pause as we begin to tap into this present moment, which is a beautiful gift. I'm spreading my fingers nice and wide. I'm having a nice micro bend in the knees. And I'm enjoying this time that I've taken for myself. From here, I'm going to spread the fingers nice and wide as I bend the knees nice and generously. I'm going to send the fingers up towards the sky. Maybe my gaze follows. I'm going to breathe in. And then I'm going to exhale, bringing the hands down towards the sides again. This time, as I breathe in and send the hands up, I'm going to capture my left wrist with my right hand ever so gently and bump my hips towards the left, hands towards the right. I'm going to lift my heart space up towards the ceiling. I'm going to breathe in, getting a nice generous stretch to the left side body, really pushing into both feet evenly. And then we're going to bring that belly button to spine as we exhale, coming back to center. And we're going to breathe in again, capturing the right wrist with the left hand this time and bumping our hips towards the right, really pushing into the feet, really getting the sensation from this foundation. And then exhale back to center, belly button to spine. We're going to breathe in, look up. And then we're going to bring the hands to the heart space. We're going to either close the eyes or find our nice gentle gaze, and we're going to bring the shoulders away from the ears. Pushing into the hands as much as we can, bringing a little bit of heat here, a little bit of energy, a little bit of prana as we push into the hands evenly, or as much as we can. And then from here, again, finding that micro bend in the knees. As we breathe in, we're going to lift the heart space up a little bit higher towards the thumbs. And then we're going to exhale. We're going to send the right hand back and the left hand forward. And I like to use a clock as a reference. So I might be able to come to 12 and 6. But if you find that that's much too much, find a number in between. Even if it's 12 and 3, 12 and 1, 12 and 2, whatever feels good for you. So if 12 and 6 does not feel good, by all means, you do not have to make it to 12 and 6. Breathe in, and then exhale, hands back to heart space. And then we're going to breathe in again. And then we're going to exhale, sending the left hand back towards the back of the mat, the right hand forward, breathe in. And then we're going to exhale back to center. We're going to then bend through the knees, nice and generous, as we send the fingertips down to come up, breathing in. And then we're going to exhale towards our feet, forward fold. We may begin to pedal it out here a little bit on this first one of our journey. Let the head get nice and heavy. We're bending at the waistline, and we are allowing the knees to bend as generously as possible, and still pushing into all four corners of the feet here. Still finding that foundation, still going through that checklist. And then from here, we're going to find our halfway lift. So we're going to send the hands past the feet, past the shins, past the knees, and up to the thighs. We're going to hug those elbows in, making these cricket arms. The neck is nice and long, and we're sending the sits bones towards the wall behind us. We are allowing the inner thighs to shine in towards each other and back as well. Nice, strong posture here. And then we're going to exhale down towards the feet. This time, we're going to breathe in, send the hands past the feet and just to the shins this time, tucking the elbows in just as we did on the thighs. And then we exhale, fold forward. And then if this is available to me, I can keep my hands at my feet this time, just lengthening up through the back body. Careful not to lock out of the knees. And if that's not available to me, I can come to my shins, and I can totally grab pillows, books, blocks, anything to bring the earth up to me. Alrighty, we're going to fold back forward with our exhale, and then this time we're going to bend through the knees nice and generously. And we're going to send the sits bones towards the heels. We're going to allow the sits bones to hover over the heels as we try to stack the knees over the ankles, and maybe we send the hands out, or we bring them to the waistline. We're going to come into Utkatasana, or chair pose here. You may be familiar, kind of like a squat, and then we're going to bring some yoga to that squat. We're tucking the tailbone so that the sits bones are hovering over the heels. We're engaging up through the center line, almost as if we're bringing the ribs together to engage here. The heart space is nice and lifted. I can send the hands out to counteract, or I can bring them to the waist for a little less heat. I'm going to breathe in. And exhale towards the floor. You can curse my name in private if you wish, but you might thank me when you have to hover over your next public toilet. And girl problems, am I right? And then here we go. We're going to bend through the knees nice and generously as we sweep the hands down to come up. All the way up. We clap the hands together and bring the hands to the heart space. We capture our breath here, allowing that energy, that prana, to fluctuate through the body. Just notice how you feel here. So we're tending to the body, but also the mind, right? So we are also taking that time to be gentle towards ourselves instead of pushing and forcing and doing all those things. All right, beautiful. All right, we're going to send the fingers down to come up, breathe in and look up if that's available to you. And then we're going to capture the left wrist, bump the hips to the left, hands to the right, breathe in, exhale back to center, breathe in, capture the right wrist, bump the hips to the right, breathe in, and exhale back to center, breathe in, and then we bring the hands to the heart space as we exhale the shoulders down and away. From here, we're going to breathe in, lifting the heart space towards the thumbs. We're going to get a nice bend in those knees still. And then as we exhale, we're going to send the hands back again. Breathe in. Exhale through center. Breathe in. Exhale to the left, finding your clock number. And back. Breathe in. And exhale. Breathe in. And exhale. Breathe in. And exhale to the left. Breathe in. And exhale back to center. We're going to bend through the knees, nice and generous as we send the fingertips down to come up. Breathe in. And find your forward fold. From here, we're going to find that halfway lift right away. So we're going to come to the thighs, the shins, or the feet. So that is up to you. It's your journey. I'll give you a breath cycle to figure it out. And then as we exhale, we come back down to our feet. And then we're going to bend through the knees, sending the sits bones back to hover as we come up into our Utkatasana, chair pose. We're going to breathe in and then exhale back down towards our feet. We're going to sweep the fingertips down to come up. As we rise to Tadasana, mountain pose, we're going to bring the hands to the heart space and take a breath cycle here. Taking a second to capture the breath, but also notice how we feel. Finding our foundation, alignment, and breath. All right, we're going to send the fingertips down to come up. We're going to capture the left wrist with the right hand, and we're going to bump those hips to the left. Breathe in to come up. And exhale to the other side. Breathe in and exhale back to center. And then we're going to breathe in and bring the hands to the heart space. All right, lift that heart space up to the thumbs, bend through the knees, and we're going to take it to the right side again. So breathe in to lift, and exhale to twist to the right, finding your clock number. Breathe in, and exhale back to center, lifting the heart space. Breathe in, and exhale to the left, finding your number. Breathe in, and then exhale back to center. Breathe in, exhale to the right. Breathe in and exhale to center. Breathe in, exhale to the left, and breathe in and exhale back to center. All right, lifting that heart space again as we send the fingertips down to come up. And then we exhale down towards our feet, finding our forward fold. And then we're going to find our halfway lift of choice, and that's the shins, the thighs, or the feet. We're still tucking in the elbows, still sending the sits bones towards the wall behind us, and we're never locking out of the knees. The neck is nice and long. Breathe in, and exhale towards your feet. And then we're going to find our chair pose again. So finding that foundation, right? So pushing into both feet evenly, really engaging through that center line, really sending the sits bones to hover over the heels, trying to stack the knees over the ankles. Maybe I send my hands out for a little bit more heat, or my shoulders are tight. I bring them back and the elbows away. Breathe in. And then exhale towards your feet. Nicely done. And then from here, we're going to plant the palms if we can. And we're going to walk the feet till they're as wide as the mat and the toes begin to spill off. So the 4 toes will spill off, the big toes still on the mat. From here, we're going to drop our center down in space, coming into a malasana or yogi squat. And then we may lift the heels, coming into more of a froggy posture. Either way, we're lifting up through the heart space. So whether my heels are planted or they're lifted, I'm still wanting to lift through that heart space. And maybe I play with lifting one hand to the heart space or both. Maybe I hover the heels. Maybe I plant them. Maybe my hands are on the ground and I'm getting a nice stretch through the hips. Careful with the knees, right? Always bright through the toes. And then we'll swing the hands around and we'll come to a seated posture with legs out nice and long. Coming into Dandasana or staff or stick pose. So from here, I'm pushing into my heels and I'm lifting up through my midline, just as we did in chair pose, as we knitted everything together. We're kind of doing that here too. So we're pushing into the sits bones and rising up through the center. Maybe I bring my hands to my side here, or maybe I keep them on my lap, finding what feels good. Lifting up through the heart space. And I know it doesn't seem like we're doing much here, but we're really engaging every muscle through the body here as we lift up, finding that staff or stick pose. So if you are shaking here, you're not alone. All right, great job. We're going to keep a nice generous bend in the knees as we're still pushing into the heels. We're going to bring the hands behind the ears and we're going to rise up. Breathe in. And then I want you to come up and over, belly towards the thighs as we send the hands towards the feet. Maybe they come to my shins, or a little bit less, listening to the body. And then I'm going to lift my heart space up towards the wall in front of me or the front of my mat. My gaze may be going up or down if I have a headache. And then I'm going to fold forward, bringing the head nice and heavy towards the knees, forehead towards the knees. And I can keep a nice generous bend in the knees, or I can straighten through the legs if that feels good. Listening to the body. Maybe we check in with the neck here. Check in with the breath. And then from here, we're going to really tuck the chin into the chest, really push into the sits bones and rise back up. We're going to bend the right knee and plant the right foot beside the left leg. The left leg is nice and straight, nice and engaged. So I'm not locking into the knee, but as straight as I can get it without locking out in the knee. And then I'm having lots of integrity in my straight leg here. I have about a fist worth of space in between my right foot and my left straight leg here. So from here, I'm going to hug onto my right leg, and maybe we just give it a nice little hug, maybe a little kiss, and then we lift up through the heart space. We breathe in, and then we're going to hook the left arm around the right knee as we send our body towards the right side. Maybe we bring the right hand behind us as a little kickstand. We're going to lift and lengthen through the upper back body as opposed to relaxing and collapsing. So pushing into those sits bones, engaging up through the midline. Crown is nice and long, and maybe I take a gaze just past my right shoulder, but listening to the neck. If that doesn't feel good, by all means, come back out. And then we're going to exhale back through center, straightening the right leg, and then bending the left. So same idea, right? Still planting through that left foot, finding about a fist worth of space here. Still engaging through the straight leg, which is the right leg. This time we're pushing into the heel, and we have a nice micro bend in that knee, just to not lock out in it there. And maybe we capture the left leg and we give it a hug and a smooch. And we lift up, breathe in to lengthen and strengthen. And as you exhale, hug your left leg with your right elbow. As you send your left hand behind, you're going to lengthen and strengthen through the upper back body. Breathe in. And allow your exhale to bring belly button to spine. And that's what twists us in this posture. And maybe we look just past the left shoulder. Maybe not. We breathe in. And then we're going to exhale back through center. And then we're going to just bring our sits bones towards our heels. And we're going to come to lay down. Maybe we hug the knees into the chest. Maybe not if that doesn't feel good. And then we're going to plant the heels, send one leg out, and then the other. And that's our practice today. It's a little bit fiery. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're feeling a lift in the heart space if you were feeling maybe a little heaviness there. I hope that if you were feeling a little groggy from your day, I hope I gave you the pickup that you need. If Shavasana is not available to you today, this corpse pose here, then I encourage you to come to a nice comfortable seat and maybe just take a few quiet breaths before you venture on to your next adventure. Really straightening up through the spine, tucking the chin, and finding those breaths. But if time does allow and you are able to come to this resting position, I encourage you to do so for as many breaths as time allows. And if your mind wanders, you're not alone. All right. I'm going to sign off here. I'm going to bring the thumbs to the third eye. And we'll tuck the chin into the chest. The light in me honors and loves the light in you.